Hello and welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sorry.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin, history, music, and culture.
While drinking a few brews.
Though we don't often use strong language, the jokes and the content is not intended for young audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Before we begin the episode, we have to give a huge shout out to the Dangits from Madison, Wisconsin, for providing us with great bluegrass intro you hear at the beginning of every episode. The song Razzle was written by Jamie Lampkins, but is performed on behalf of Tom Wasselchuk and the Dangits. If you have a chance, check these guys out at dang-its.com for upcoming shows, music, or on how to book them for weddings, parties, and etc. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back, and for some, welcome in for the first time. This is episode 19 of Wisconsin Drunken History, your weekly dose of the Dairy State. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons for the YouTube algorithm, and tap the bell to be notified about all of our new episodes as they come out. Today's main story is the Koss Corporation. You know them for their great headphones, speakers, and other audio accessories. We also have new editions of How Many Loco You At? This Day in Wisco History, another fine beverage review, and we have an interview with One Barrel Brewing Company, when we have local Wisconsin music from At the Wayside. So why don't you go ahead and slip on your finest pair of lawn mowing sneakers, and we'll go ahead and get this baby started. All right, so today's main story is about the Koss Corporation. So our story begins in 1958 when John Koss and Martin Lang Jr. develop a portable stereo phonograph player with side-wing speakers and a very special world-first feature. The pair would demonstrate their new stereo record player at a Wisconsin audio show, where for the first time, listeners would have the option to use a unique feature called Privacy Switch, which would allow for use of the world's first SP3 stereo phones, or headphones as most of us call them now. John Koss had invented the SP3 stereo phone with the intention of replicating a live musical performance and to bring the listener a little closer to the music they love.
Yeah, who doesn't want a privacy switch, man?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, imagine being a kid, for especially like Russ and I, we would sit in our bedrooms and just crank music all the time, listen to the bands that we loved that our parents definitely didn't want to hear all throughout the house.
In 1958, what do you think they're listening to? Like,
I would imagine Elvis,
Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly probably is another big one. Those kind of early rock and roll, introductory kind of guys.
Yeah.
So in 1968, Koss released the world's first self-energizing electrostatic headphone, the ESP6. To achieve its unprecedented sound profile, the ESP6 employed the principle of a currentless or electrostatic charge. So the charge was applied to push-pull condenser plates and caused movement of an ultra-lightweight conductive diaphragm. So these things were just they're more clear. All the audio is more pronounced. They can get a little bit louder without distorting as much. So just really, really intense music, a really intense personal music performance in your ears, which is amazing. So in 1969, the Presidential Air Force One's state-of-the-art entertainment system was outfitted with 50 pairs of the Koss Pro 4 stereophones. Everyone from the press, staff, and the presidential quarters on the airplane had a set of these at all the seats. Koss set the standard for full-size professional headphones with the iconic Pro 4AA. At the time of their introduction in 1970, the Pro 4AA were regarded as the first dynamic headphones to deliver true full frequency and high fidelity performance with impressive noise isolation capabilities. So essentially what this means is Bose, more recently has been known for their ability to completely block out any exterior noise and deliver you performance audio through these stereo phones. But that initial technology began with Koss right here in Milwaukee. So he's delivering now this ability to really, really isolate what you're hearing inside of the cups that go around your ear that, other headphones and other personal audio devices just weren't able to provide. So this is huge. And then you also don't lose any of the audio quality. Like they said, it's high fidelity. Real audiophiles are rejoicing in this technology.
Yeah, 1969 too, like the musical revolution going on at the time. Could you imagine listening
to the Beatles?
to
You could literally listen to every single note of Sgt. Pepper's and not lose anything.
Or Hendrix, just unbelievable.
Clapton. Early Cream stuff rather.
Yeah.
But this is just crazy. So all of this happening, at a really early time. So in 1974, Koss released the HV1A, which is the first dynamic headphone capable of reproducing all 10 audible octaves. The HV1A paved a new course in personal listening. So I don't know if you understand that, but this is every single one of the audible octaves to the human ear is now available in a personal headset, which is nuts. I mean, they're not as portable as, what we have now, but still, they fit in a backpack.
Compared to what they had for original technology, like we talked about in the Les Paul episode, the crystal radio where it had the little super small output. It was a headphone. But the output was so small, there was no amplification. So
yeah, it's definitely intense stuff. And for one person to sort of have the ability to make way with this awesome technology is it's insane to me to even think that a person has this in their head. So in 1976, Koss debuted the Pro for AAA, building off of the Pro AA's iconic sound. So the Pro 4 AAA incorporated a number of new design features. The most notable of these features was the headphone's direct contour Numalite ear cushions. The shape of the cushions mirrored an ear's natural D shape. So towards the front of the ear, it's kind of more of a flat, straight line. And then the ear contours towards the back of the neck as like a D profile. So this was the first headphone to even consider the shape of someone's ear. So the advancement in this design informed the very pronounced D profile found in many Koss headphones today. So they still employ this D profile in all of their headphone cups, which most of the ones that we see today are just a straight circle. They go over the ear like normal, and Koss still says, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna set ourselves a little ahead, and at least from the design alone, someone will be able to say." That's a Koss headphone.
Koss has been giving people the D for a while.
Baby. The old D profile. So with the help of John Koss, the Medical College of Wisconsin developed the Koss Hearing and Balance Center, where audiologists continue to provide rehabilitative services and provide the latest and most advanced hearing aid, assistive devices, and oral rehabilitation, which is huge. I mean, right here in our own backyard, we have this amazing center for individuals who are either hearing impaired or kind of going that direction, and we're able to sort of help. And I know with a huge grant from him, he's able to provide some of that stuff as well as his technology.
It's funny because now they have the hearing aids with the Bluetooth. Have you ever heard those horror stories of people hearing like phone calls?
They're hearing everything
and music,
all the mixed frequencies and stuff.
It's just nuts.
Yeah. So throughout the 90s and the 2000s, the Koss Corporation would continue to innovate and produce high-quality headphones and other audio products and accessories, including being one of the first to produce, as Russ mentioned, a wireless stereophone system that featured a transmitter that delivered 4 times more power than the conventional infrared headphone system at the time. So really, really stepping out in front of all of the other competitors in the market and saying, you know what, these really low power, poor productive, headphone systems that are wireless, let's really focus our attention on that. And they were early in that, which is huge.
Yeah.
You don't think of wireless headsets, at least for us, until really into the mid 2000s, closer to even 2010, being Bluetooth is king. That's what you're going to get. You don't need a wire anymore. You can get really high productive sound, high fidelity audio from something that's not tethered by this cord. So John Koss has been inducted into a number of prestigious institutions, including the Smithsonian for the SP3s, the original headphone and stereophone he created, the Audio Hall of Fame, the Consumer Electronics Hall of Fame, and the Wisconsin Business Hall of Fame. So definitely a big staple, one of those names in the Wisconsin in Wisconsin's legend that you'll see outside of that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you driving around Milwaukee, there's signs, and I know I've witnessed the corporation building over by the Home Depot there in Glendale, which is just massive. I mean, you can't miss it. You go in the Home Depot, you get out, and you see this big building, and you're like, what is that? And then, yeah, it's like the main Koss Corporation right there.
Yep. Yeah, and it's unique in many ways, but their advertising has always been huge. So one of the I guess the more neat things, Koss was featured in the hit show Mad Men as a recurring client of Sterling Cooper. And again, this is an Emmy award-winning television show. John Hamm, one of the main characters here. But the Koss Corporation was actually a very pronounced figure in that television show.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, a lot of people got to see this. So, Russ, as you mentioned, the building that you notice right off of the highway by that Home Depot before you get into right by like Silver Spring, you mentioned that there's the big building, their warehouse. What other notable thing do you see right off the highway that's very big and very pronounced?
I don't know.
Giant billboard.
Oh, man.
And that one giant billboard is owned pretty much exclusively by Koss. And they continue to put gigantic billboards out that advertise some of their stuff. So,
you're talking about the one with the smiley guy on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was,
yeah.
So they brought that back recently, but that's actually an original advertising billboard from the 70s and 80s. It says, "Ever wonder why he's smiling?" And then it says, Koss stereophones, which is great. I mean, you drive by and you see basically a gigantic yellow sun with a smiley face on it. You're going to take note. And in gigantic bold letters, it says Koss stereophones. Now, for us in Wisconsin, we kind of know Koss, but, many people drive that highway on their way up to Green Bay, up to the Door County area, anywhere up north, essentially. You can take this pathway to get there. So, definitely huge. Again, in the 70s, they had this really cool advertisement of 3 owls sitting on a branch, and the one in the middle is wearing the Koss stereo headphones, and his eyes are just lit up, and it says, "Give your neighbors the silent treatment." Yeah. So this is really highlighting that ability to listen to your music at a very high volume and keep it all personal. Nobody around you can even tell what you're doing or listening to.
Oh yeah, and so the other one they had was the 3 monkeys actually.
Kind of the same idea, right? You have the one in the middle rocking the headset,
Yeah, exactly. And the owl one actually looks 70s. This one looks a little more modern actually.
It does.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah, really really unique stuff. They incorporated President Lincoln in there. They made his top hat, his notable hat, a little taller with some areas for the headphones to slip through. And it says, "Not all stereophones are created equal," which is neat.
Yeah, right. Kind of a play on words from Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of other really, really unique advertising slogans, really, really bold illustrations being used on these huge billboards right off the highway. we're going to share a bunch of these on the Instagram as well. So you'll have a chance to see each and every one of these. One of the ones that I remember kind of more recently was there was, oh God, what was it? Is this James Dean? Was that James Dean?
Yeah, James Dean.
Yeah, and they had 2 different billboards that they ran. They had Rebel with a Koss, and so he's wearing his Koss headset, and then they have Rebel without a Koss, and he's noticeably less happy. He has no headphones on, and that's really funny. I remember seeing that as a kid, kind of driving down the highway. So, well, like I said, we'll share a bunch of these with you guys on the Instagram. But that definitely concludes our quick look at the Koss Corporation and our main story today. But definitely go to their website, read a little bit more about their rich products. They still produce really high quality headphones, so take notice.
And with that, we're going to move on to our local music segment. We have a really special band today. Sturge, you want to give us a little bit of heads up on these guys?
Yeah, so this band is called At the Wayside. They, again, produce really, really incredible pop punk or power pop music that just, it's straight out of the early 2000s. Yeah. It sounds like you're transformed back to the old Punk-O-Rama days and Warped Tour, all packed into this group, and they're local in Wisconsin, which is amazing because, you normally hear these bands being from like the West Coast, possibly even Florida, with like Newfound Glory and stuff, but these guys are just absolutely fantastic. And like I said, they really transform you back into the old early 2000s of the pop punk genre that honestly recently we've been seeing a huge comeback of this style of music, which is amazing because it is so good.
Yeah, there's been a huge revival, and I know me and you, we were still in school in the early to mid 2000s, so we got to witness all the stuff. We went to Warped Tour. We were really into it, and it's great to see this stuff revive. It brings back a lot of memories, and I just like the style of music in general.
It's that really punchy guitar, distorted chugs, and just those huge power beats on the drums, just big.
Yeah, and like our counterparts in one of our other episodes, in the Bubbler episode, we had Common Threads on, and these guys actually have played with Common Threads, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So without further ado, we have At the Wayside, Inside of My Mind.
Say the words, but I just can't care anymore. When it hurts,
All right. Again, that was At the Wayside, Inside of My Mind. Definitely give those guys a listen on all of their other music, their other albums. You can find them all over Spotify, YouTube, Bandcamp. They are everywhere. We have another beer review for you right now, and this one is truly great.
So today we're drinking the Big 2.0 Wheat Ale from Oso Brewing Company. If you don't know Oso, they're from Plover, Wisconsin. It's a very good beer. It's a 4.6 alcohol by volume wheat ale. And this beer features actually a little bit of hint of citrus in it, which I'm getting right off the bat. And it's fermented with Voskvek, which I think is like a Norwegian strain of yeast, I believe. It's very good. It has a really good mouthfeel. You're getting a lot of orange character right off the bat.
Definitely. Kind of, like you said, it's kind of a duller orange taste.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's available all year round. It's pretty tasty. It's one of those beers you can kind of handle on a summer day. It's kind of nice to be outside sipping on this. You get that citrus hint to it.
Yeah, and because it's not so, it's not really high on the ABV, it is not overpowering with the daily drinkability, like you said.
Right.
You can definitely put this one down, and it is a lighter option. Not quite as low as some of the light beers that are out, but if you're more reaching for a craft, higher quality taste and flavor, this is definitely one of those that I would recommend wholeheartedly every single time.
Yeah, and it's a gold medal winning beer, kind of reinvented that they have of another one and so it's the 2.0, kind of the reinvention of the original,
right,
which is really good. And the one thing I like Oso Brewing Company, so the name, I believe it's a play on words on Wisconsin. So like, oh, so are you guys going fishing or no? Kind of, you know what I mean? Like that,
gotcha.
Up north. I'm pretty sure that's how they got their name, and which I kind of find cool. I like when people play into that kind of stuff. Like we have a lot of things we say here, like or no, you guys going fishing or no?
Right.
Or also, like we do this kind of things all the time, or like the ope when we're just scooching. Can I scooch past you?
Yeah. Can you just bump that down a skosh?
Which is kind of cool. We see a lot of comedians kind of doing this play off the Wisconsin. This
need to scooch on past you.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool that they I think that's what they're going for with the also,
Even if it's not accurate, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm
like
doing.
It.
Yeah, right. But yeah, again, this one is called the Big 2.0 from Oso Brewing Company. Like I said, it's available all year round. Stop at your local liquor stores, give it a shot. Let us know what you think. I mean, this is like a summer drinker. This is the outdoor fishing beer for me. I like it, especially right now. We're getting towards the end of summer here in Wisconsin, and it's really hot, 90 degrees, like the last week. So this one's like one of these beers you can sip.
Yeah, definitely a quality, lower ABV beer. Really great drinkability. Check it out. And we have another edition of How Many Loco You At?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we got a doozy for you today. It's actually regarding
a pretty popular television show.
Yeah, a popular television show and some liquor that was involved while driving. So without further ado, here, Sturge, can you give us a little heads up what's going on here?
Yeah, so a Janesville man is facing charges after authorities say an argument over a popular TV show led to a fist fight and an OWI arrest on Monday, December 9th. So the driver is charged with OWI, fourth offense, and 2 counts of bail jumping. So this guy is no newbie to getting in trouble, that's for sure.
He's not a church mouse.
No, he is not a church mouse. All right. So the driver, essentially what ends up happening here is there's a massive fist fight that occurs after a Packer game. So a Rock County deputy responded to East Rodimer Road and North Henke Road in Harmony Township around 12:45 a.m. after receiving a report of 2 men trying to flag down vehicles in the area. The deputy located the 2 men, one later identified as the driver, near a vehicle parked in a lane on Rodimer Road. So the driver had obvious injuries to his face, according to a criminal complaint, and a bloody thumb and bloody clothing.
Jeez.
One of his eyes was almost completely swollen shut, and he struggled to keep his balance. I'm not so sure that that's because of the ass whooping he received or if it's because he's intoxicated.
It's a combo.
So the complaint says that the driver appeared to be completely and extremely intoxicated, and he had trouble answering all of the deputies' questions. Those are some tough ones. So the driver told the deputy that he and his friend had gone to the Packers game on December 8th and said that his friend had gotten a little feisty. His friend had a bruise on the left side of his neck and also appeared intoxicated. So the man told the authorities that the driver and himself had been drinking at the game and drove to a Janesville bar afterward before they ended up at their current location, which was on the side of the road. He said that while in the vehicle, himself and the driver started arguing about the TV show How I Met Your Mother. He said that the driver was driving, arguing, and then began hitting him in the passenger seat. So he started to punch back. He started to defend himself. Eventually, the driver stopped the vehicle, and they both got out. The man said he was trying to be the peacekeeper, but the driver kept hitting him. And so he punched the driver right in the face several times in self-defense. So when asked if the TV show sparked the argument, the driver said, "Yes, we love that show." Jesus.
They really love that show.
So he was due in court on December 18th. We all know his outcome. He definitely went to jail.
Is there a show you think you'd beat up your buddy over? Like if he disagreed with you on something, is there a show that you love that much where we're just going to start punching each other in the face?
No, I mean, certainly there's disagreements and arguments that all of us have with our friends or our family, but nothing that I could ever see coming to blows with somebody. The only way is being on Four Loko.
Oh, you know what? This might be another case where these people are actually drinking the
I
Loco.
think this is a real case
of Loco. I think so too, dude. To get that extreme after watching How I Met Your Mother, I mean,
Barney is the best. Boof. And then just jack your dude in the face because he's like, no, Jason Segel's the best, and you're like, no, he's not.
No,
let me tell you why. Punch to the face. I mean, that's all of this is all dick moves.
I only like Doogie Howser.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm telling you right now, this is definitely one of those cases where I think this legitimately is
a loco drink
kind of day. They definitely were at the Packer game. They watched probably a victory, and that's why How I Met Your Mother is on their mind. And I'm saying to be at this level, throwing fists. I mean, this guy's face looks absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
eye is swollen shut.
It's pummeled.
It looks like he got gravel to the face at some point.
I've been in some fights and I've never gotten beaten up that bad.
No.
Like where I couldn't see out of my eyes. He's swollen. He looks like a Tyson fight.
I might have delivered a couple of A whoopings like this, but I never got a can opened on my face like this guy. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is a real Loco moment, and I think that the level at which they need to be in order to come to fisticuffs over a television show. Yeah. And for this guy to punch his buddy who's driving and this guy to punch the passenger who's riding, it's got to be at least a 2 can, maybe 2.5 cans.
Yeah, I was actually reaching for 3 almost. So
almost a 3, yeah.
We can go 2.5 because that way we'll kind of meet in the middle there.
I think at 2.5, we're looking at about a 10 Loco.
Yeah, 10 Loco kind of seems about right. I think if we average our 2 scores, because I mean we don't get like the level of intoxication. The officer never releases the breathalyzer, but he's obviously
he's struggling to talk. He's off balance.
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to lie. If you have that many Locos and you take a whooping from your buddy, like you're not going to feel it anyways. He probably didn't feel it till the next day.
He's sitting in a jail cell right now. Like, why can't I see out of my left eye?
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, it's because your buddy socked it shut, bro.
You sucked down some Lokes and he ended up with a swollen eye.
You guys got into an argument about a show, and he took care of your eye problem. And the problem was that you had two eyes, and you only needed one good one.
I mean, there's some shows I really love, but I'm not going to sock my dude over it, dude. No way, even if we disagreed.
I'm saying right now, one of my favorite television shows of all time is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's a great show.
There's no effing way I'm going to punch anybody over any sort of a disagreement on it.
Dude, I like Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Nope, Mac is the dude, man.
I just
Yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen either one of those shows that we're talking about, How I Met Your Mother and It's Always
They're
Sunny
both
in
good shows,
Philadelphia,
for sure.
watch them. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're great shows.
However, if you're driving and you're having a disagreement and you've been drinking, try your best to keep your hands to yourself.
Oh, for sure. So today we're here with Adam from One Barrel Brewing Company in Madison, Wisconsin. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, gentlemen.
So we just want to find out a little bit about the brewery itself, maybe a little history you can give us, some new beers coming out, and obviously events. With COVID, we know things have been weird, but we still want to hear what you got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. The quick background, One Barrel Brewing Company, we've been around for 8 years. We opened up our little tap room nano brewery on the kind of near east side of Madison, and Shank's Corners is the name of our little neighborhood. Super fun, super awesome little joint. Great food, great beer in the neighborhood over there. But yeah, we've been around 8 years, and so about 4 years ago we started distributing beer a little bit more. So getting bigger, packaging products. So things like Penguin Pale Ale, Commuter Kolsch. Those are kind of our original flagship beers. And it's always been cool. One Barrel. Our name comes from the fact that our nano brewery, we're literally brewing one barrel batches of beer. So every batch of beer is 2 kegs, move on to something else. And as we get bigger and bigger, we treat those small batches as pilot batches, see what works well, and then expand them from there. It's been a fun ride for a long time now. In recent times, about a year ago, we opened up our second tap room up in Door County. So we're up in Egg Harbor. And that's been an amazing fun. We have a ton of land up there. It's mostly focused on outdoor drinking in the first place. So recently, especially with the whole COVID, in Madison, our tap room is basically closed down. We sell to-go beer on the weekends. That's about it.
Nice.
Whereas up in Door County, we've been open and we can spread everybody out and be safe, and everybody's drinking outside, and can still enjoy, everything that Door County has to offer. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know one of the cool things about the Penguin Pale Ale is we actually had that at the Live at King Street event. That was like the beer.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have the King Street and the Majestic guys, and although they've always done a really good job with getting the Penguin. And the funny thing about Penguin Pale Ale, that was one of our original big flagship beers, because the Penguin, the drawing of the Penguin, that's our dude, that's our logo, that's our mascot. Yeah. We just re-released Penguin Pale Ale about 2 weeks ago. Totally new recipe, new kind of logo, new packaging, and a new recipe to keep it a little bit lighter in color. Once we started getting into rotating IPAs, and then our flagship being Commuter, which is such a nice, easy drink and light Kolsch. Penguin, we just decided to take that pale ale and make it a little more true, make it a little more light in color, nice little hoppy snap to it. But yeah, Penguin, that's our dude. The owner originally drew that Penguin, and was just so happy with it. It was the best thing he could ever draw. So, that's on our T-shirts, that's on our tap handles. That is our tap handles, is a Penguin.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I saw it originally, I thought that would be a perfect tattoo.
Oh, hey man, that's funny that you say that. I'm not sure if you're aware. So early on, we still to this day, we keep temporary tattoos of that Penguin with the bottles on the ground. We keep temporary tattoos every time we go to an event or something like that. But Pete, the owner, he got that tattooed on himself.
That's
and
awesome.
Early on, at the tap room here in Madison, we would always say, hey man, if you decide to put this on your body in ink, get a tattoo of the Penguin, we'll give you a keg of beer. You can throw a party, you can do whatever you want. And legitimately we had to stop that because too many people did it.
Right. Tattoos nowadays are just, they're accepted.
Yeah.
So,
and it's way cheaper than a keg of beer. So,
Yeah. Now,
one woman who legitimately got that penguin tattoo on the bottom of her foot, fellas.
whoa.
I mean, I don't have tattoos personally, but I can only imagine that the bottom of your foot cannot feel good.
That'd be ticklish. That's for sure. I would be giggling through the whole thing, moving. Now, the one thing that I do want to say is my co-host Russ and I, we might do this. We might get this tattooed.
Go nuts. Like I said, it's been long enough. I think we had about 14 people that did it, and this was, years and years ago. So we kind of put the kibosh on spreading it out. But hey, you fellas get a penguin tattoo, send me a pic. We'll get you a keg of beer.
Sounds good. Adam, if I come up there, can you guys give me a Banjo Cat penguin pale ale sleeve?
You know what? We have people that can make that happen.
All right.
Good. We're in.
Yeah, and the funniest another thing, the owner, he's not a huge tattoo guy. He's got a good amount. He got a tattoo of one of a beer that we used to do called Fifth Element, and that was a rye IPA. Great beer. It just, once we moved into really getting our seasonal calendar down, it kind of lost traction. So we stopped making it, and every once a year we'll have a planning meeting, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, what if we bring Fifth Element back?" And we're like, "Hey man, good beer. It just didn't sell. These other ones are doing better." And he's like, "But I got the tattoo. So I got this tattoo. What am I gonna do with it?"
Right. Yeah, I know. We lived on we lived up right off Willie's. Me and a girlfriend at the time, and right on Rogers there, and we used to walk down there all the time, and it was like our favorite place to go.
Sure, man. Well, we appreciate that.
I'm seriously glad you guys are on the show. Obviously, we love the beers. We've had a lot of them. The Commuter Coals,
Many,
just a ton of them.
Yeah, right on. So, as far as this is, again, everybody knows COVID has been crazy for bars and for, any sort of production. We've been really, really lucky. We're struggling real bad in Madison, of course, by just selling to-go beer. But we're lucky that, we have the Door County tap room that's bringing good revenue in while being safe. And obviously people are buying a lot of beer in the stores, so we kind of had to deal with our brew schedule early on in this and cut some seasonal batches, but really quickly ramp it right back up. People are buying so much beer in the stores. And so in the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of beers coming back out. So we're excited about a lot of product out there right now. My personal favorite is a brand new beer we just launched about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago called Influencer. And that's a West Coast style IPA. The West Coast style has kind of been forgotten a little bit. And what that really is just light in color, real upfront with the hops, but not a lot of that citrus and haze that's been super popular. So the Influencer IPA is just, I'm crushing these cans, and we love kind of the poundable beers. That's really turned into what works well for us. But it's got Warrior, some Mosaic and Centennial hops, so it's pretty easy going. And then just 3 days ago, we re-released our super popular seasonal New England IPA, which is one of those hazy, citra hopped, really refreshing 6% IPA. So yeah, it's rough, and we're all dealing with it the same way everybody else is, but we got a lot to be kind of excited about, and we're fortunate and optimistic for the future.
Awesome, Adam. Thank you so much. And before we go, we always ask of like 8 to 9 questions about to find out how Wisconsin you are, if you're willing to participate.
Yeah, you got it. This will be interesting. I've been here a long time, but I'm not an OG, so bring it on.
All right, sounds good. Have you ever tailgated at a Brewers, Packers, or Badgers game?
Oh, all of the above.
The trifecta.
The trifecta.
Yes,
You
it's
completed
awesome.
it. The worlds are wonderful.
If you have beer brats, is there a beer you recommend using, even if from your brewery?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's funny because, one of my old bosses would always insult beers with that, like, "Oh, I wouldn't even boil my brats in that." But I think that's, insulting for us. I mean, my automatic go-to for brats these days is our Up North lager. Up North is a beer we started making last year, light in color. We started brewing it, in celebration of our Door County tap room, but it's just light, easy drinking, crisp Wisconsin lager. Great for those brats.
Sounds perfect.
Oh, yeah, there, guy.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. Have you ever hit a deer?
With my car?
Yeah.
I have not actually. I've hit a deer with a golf ball, if you can believe that.
Oh my
I
god!
can believe it. Have you ever punched one in the face?
I've certainly
that's
been tempted, my friend. But no,
instantly
no.
when you said with my car, I was thinking, well, I don't know if you've punched one in the face. I want to hear
If we're
about
talking
it.
kangaroos,
Yeah.
I'd punch one. No, never. I've
Give
been
it the
lucky
old
enough to never
people's
hit a deer
elbow.
with my car.
The Macho Man. Oh yeah, Buck, I'm coming for you, brother.
Top rope.
All right, if you have a Bloody Mary, how do you prepare yours?
Oh goodness, man! So I'm not a Bloody Mary guy personally, but I'm more of a beer in the morning kind of fella. But back
Shower
when I
beer.
would make cocktails, tons of horseradish, tons of Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of A1, and if you got any Coleman's spicy mustard around,
Okay.
let me tell you, put it in there, buddy.
That sounds good.
I like it.
All right, do you ever go to Wisconsin supper clubs, and if so, which one's your favorite?
Oh man, I love supper clubs, and the worst part about, for me, small town supper clubs is really where it's at, and a lot of those times I don't really remember, which of those places are. In Madison, as far as a place that's kind of always keeping the supper club tradition, Tornado Room is my absolute favorite.
I knew you were going to say that.
We just had somebody else mention that one.
It's just been such a staple go-to, for as long as I've been in Madison, which is over 20 years. That's just my favorite, man. That was one of my best buddies. We had his birthday 3 days before everything got shut down way back in March, and we were able to get a phenomenal dinner in at Tornado right before. And I've been, they've been doing takeout for the past month or so, which has been phenomenal. But
I love it.
Yeah, there's a handful of them up in Door County where I spend a little bit of time these days, and couldn't even tell you the names.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love that place. Like, you can see the old 70s wall coverings, the darkness.
Yeah.
You got the cigarette smoke still ingrained in the panels.
I was gonna say, you can smell the history. Oh, I'll tell you what. One of my best last year when we were wrapping up our season up in Door County, myself and a few of our buddies, we went out and we had a great meal it was called Donnie's Glidden Lodge up in Door County. And let me tell you, that's just salad bar, soup, steaks. Oh boy, that's supper club.
Yeah, that's a really nice place, and I think that one's in Sturgeon Bay. Is that correct?
That sounds right. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, and so we have one more question before we let you go, and this one's a hard one to answer, obviously, for like local breweries. But besides obviously One Barrel, is there another brewery tour or a brewery you have to have somebody visit?
Sure, and again, my personal history, just to give it to you quickly, I came to Madison in '98 for college. I worked at, a bar all throughout college and afterwards called the Angelic. And the Angelic is what spawned, we were a little brew pub, but that's what spawned the Ale Asylum. So, I'll always have a real good connection with those guys at the Ale Asylum. Love their beer, love their place. But honestly, these days, right down about a mile away from us, it's called Working Draft. They've been the hottest brewery kind of on the near east side of Madison for over a year now. Their place is real nice. It's all that shiny, bright new equipment, but their beers are phenomenal. The guys are just unbelievably kind, and really just doing things the right way. So I love those guys. There's also another brand new one that I haven't even had a chance to go yet. They've only been open about a month, called Youngblood. That's up on the Capitol. So those are friends of ours as well. So I've heard good things. But again, the best part about kind of the brewing industry in Madison is that, we're all friends. We all know each other. There's always some sibling rivalry, but we all it's rising tide raises all ships, man. We're all in it together to sell some good beer.
And that's what we've noticed too, is that, a lot of these, breweries are willing to say that the ones that are right down the street, they're friends of. And I love that, because it's building a camaraderie and a cool community of brewers alike,
Yeah, exactly. And, and the people that get in, what I always used to say is it's a very easy thing. People are now super open to craft beer, and especially in Madison, of course. But, if there's any holdouts, somebody has a little brewery open up right by their house and they finally give it a shot, and then they realize, oh, wait, this is just good, tasty beer. Then they're going to start going to every other brewery. So, having everybody, keeping the bar high makes it better for all of us. Everybody likes to go to every brewery.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. It's a cool culture to be around, because it is such an art form, and you can do it a number of different ways and still be just as good as your brother next to you.
Yeah, and collaboration, that's all
That too.
that everybody, you peek in on it's like, oh, what are you making over here? What are you doing with that grain? What kind of hops are you using today? It just makes it more fun. You don't want to, it's not this cutthroat thing. There's, and again, we're in Wisconsin, brothers. There is enough beer drinkers to go around for all of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Then there's people like Russ and I who we just want to try every single thing that's out there, no matter what.
And that's, that takes dedication too. So we appreciate your steadfast, dedication to trying all the liquid out there.
Yeah, and I mean, Madison's just such a great area. You got like Carbon 4, you got you guys, you got Ale Asylum, Vintage. There's just so many. Octopi. I mean, I can't even name all of them. There's just so many.
Yeah.
But
you're not wrong, man. And again, that's always we all come from we're a small company still, as much as we're growing. So all of us have personal connections with all these other breweries. And it is fun, man. It's wonderful. Like I said, we're lucky to be a part of it.
Adam, thank you so much for your time today. We obviously love your beer. We're glad you were on today. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a great day.
And we'll be up there soon.
Yeah, rock and roll, man. We appreciate it, guys.
Cool. You have a good day.
All right, thanks.
You too. Take care, gentlemen.
Bye. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
And before we close out the show, we got our last segment, This Day in Wisconsin History. Today, September 27th, 1842, the first public music hall opens in Milwaukee. And it's actually the same day as my brother. Happy birthday, Matt.
Nice job.
So September 27th, 1842, the first public music hall in Milwaukee opened with a performance of Shylock and William Tell by Lynn and Powell's Detroit and Chicago Company. The hall was built by John Hustis on the northwest corner of 3rd and Chester Streets in Milwaukee. So,
there you go.
Yeah, the first public music hall opened.
Hey, and what a rich history we have in music now and all of the different venues we have right downtown Milwaukee.
Yep.
All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, we recommend you subscribe via SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
Also, leave us a review on any one of those above-mentioned sites, and we can read one at the end of every show. Follow us on social media, and feel free to reach out, especially if there is a piece of history or weird news you'd love us to share or research, as well as highlight some local artists or music. Our website is projectcapestudio.com.
I'd also like to thank my friend and past coworker, Steph Skiback, for providing us with awesome podcast cover art, as well as the Dangits for intro and outro music, and all of you for listening. As always,
Watch out for deer on the way home.